Sketching is a foundation to creating 3D geometry in XDesign. Many features require sketches as the base geometry, including the most fundamental features such as an extrude, a revolve, a sweep, or a loft. This makes it extremely important to know how to use a variety of sketch commands and relate them together properly. In this lesson, I'll focus on three separate aspects of sketching, using the main types of sketch entities, adding constraints between sketch entities, and then adding dimensions to size and position them. The most common types of sketch entities are lines, rectangles, arcs, and circles. I'll walk through how to sketch each of these sketch entities and the different commands for each one. The most common sketch constraints are the vertical and horizontal constraints, the coincident constraint, collinear constraint, midpoint constraint, tangent constraint, concentric constraint, and switching a sketch entity to be construction geometry. Once you've gotten to see how to add constraints, I'll show you how to add dimensions to set the sizes of all the sketch elements. I'll show you how to create linear distance dimensions, angle dimensions, radius dimensions, and diameter dimensions. These steps will get you ready to apply all the necessary elements when creating your own sketches. Here I have a new file open in XDesign. You can see the three planes showing on screen, the XY, YZ, and ZX planes. Any of these can be used to start a sketch. For example, if I want to start a new sketch on the XY plane, I can click the Create Edit Sketch command here on the Sketch tab of the Action bar, and then select the XY plane. This automatically rotates the view to face normal to the sketch plane. This happens whenever you begin a new sketch on a plane. If you happen to rotate out of this normal view, you can go back to it either by clicking this Normal to button or by pressing the N key. Now I'm ready to start sketching. The four main sketch entity types used in sketches are shown here in the action bar, which are lines, rectangles, arcs, and circles. I'll go through each of these in this order. Lines are the most basic sketch entity used to create sketch profiles. To enable the line command, either click on the command here or press the L key on the keyboard. Lines can be drawn using three different techniques. To create an individual line, you can click, move the mouse to where you want the endpoint, and then double-click or press the Escape key to end the line. As you can see, this line can be created at any angle and has no other geometry being created once I double-clicked. Another way of making this same individual line is by clicking and holding the mouse button at the first endpoint, then moving over to the location of the other endpoint with the mouse button still held down, and releasing the mouse to create the other endpoint. Lines can also be sketched connected to one another. To do this, simply click, move the mouse, and click once to place the endpoint. Note that the line command is still enabled. From here you can move and continue to single-click to place more line segments. There are two types of rectangles that can be created, a regular rectangle or a center rectangle. The regular rectangle can be sketched by clicking to place one corner, moving the mouse, and clicking once to place the other corner. These corners are always diagonal from one another, as you've seen here. The center rectangle can be sketched by clicking where the center of the rectangle should be located, and then clicking once more to place the location of one of the corners. This will always produce a rectangle with horizontal and vertical sides, as well as automatic center lines, no matter where you move the mouse to place the corner. The next sketch entity I'd like to cover is the arc. There are three different types of arc commands you can use. The three-point arc command is created by clicking at the locations of the two endpoints of the arc, and then clicking to place a third point somewhere along the length of the arc. This third point controls how large or small the radius of the arc will be. The center arc is created by first clicking to place the center point of the arc, then clicking in 2 more locations to define the endpoints of the arc. Note that the distance between the first click, which sets the center point, and the second click, which sets the first endpoint of the arc, will determine the constant radius used for this arc. The third arc type is the tangent arc, which creates an arc tangent to an existing line or curve. This sketch entity is created by clicking on the endpoint of an existing sketch segment, then clicking to place the other endpoint. Notice that the radius of the arc is determined by where you place the second point, which is because it's made tangent to the first sketch entity connected to the arc. The fourth main sketch entity is the circle command. There are 2 types of circles you can sketch: the center circle and the 3-point circle. As you may be able to guess, the center circle is created by first clicking on the center point, then clicking once more to place the radius of the circle. As the name suggests, the 3-point circle is created by clicking to place 3 different points around the edge of the circle. These points can be connected to other sketch entities or can be free-floating. Before wrapping up, I want to show you one more useful sketching tool: the Sketch Fillet command. This command will round the corner and create an arc where 2 sketch segments were connected. The arc will be made tangent to both sketch entities. To create a sketch fillet, you can either click and hold the mouse while dragging over sketch segments that meet at a corner, including multiple corners in a row. Click on the endpoint at the corner, or you can click on the 2 segments that connect at the corner. Notice that when I rotate the view, all these sketch segments are contained in the XY plane I selected when I began sketching. From here, any of these sketch profiles can be used to create 3D geometry, such as this rectangle with filleted corners.